Namaste, this is Samta Auntie. In this video, we are going to review clothing and accessories vocabulary and determine whether the clothing item is a pull noun or a stri noun. Before we dive in, let's do a quick review about what a noun is. A noun is a person, place, thing, animal, or an idea. There are nouns all around us. And in Hindi, every single noun falls into either one of these categories, either the pull category or the stri category. Pull means male nouns, and stri means female nouns. Remember, every single noun falls into one of these categories. People are nouns. And when we're talking about people, it's easier to identify what noun category they belong to. Males are pull, and females are stri. But what about things like shirts and pants? How do I identify the noun category for a shirt? Well, we have to ask ourselves, are shirts Mr. or Mrs.? Are pants Mr. or Mrs.? Now, I know that seems kind of odd or silly, but that's just how it goes in Hindi. And don't think to yourself, well, I'm a girl or I'm a boy, so for me, a shirt is stri for a girl, or if you're a boy, a shirt is pull. That's not how it works. Each noun is pre-assigned to one of these categories. A shirt is either pull or stri, regardless of who the person is, regardless of who you are. And the same thing goes for pants, and the same thing goes for every single noun. It doesn't matter whether you are a boy or a girl. What matters is the noun category for the item. So is shirt a Mr. or a Mrs.? Or are pants a Mr. or a Mrs.? And again, I know this seems silly, but remember, every language in the world has its own rules. And noun categories are a part of Hindi. So how do we know which noun category the noun falls into? There are two simple rules to follow. If the Hindi word for the noun ends with an a sound, then usually it is a pull noun. And if the Hindi word for the noun ends with an e sound, then usually it's a stri noun. Now that was a lot of information. I'm going to repeat it again. Okay? If the Hindi word for the noun ends with an a sound, it's a pull noun. If the Hindi word for the noun ends with an e sound, then it is a stri noun. Now, I first said usually. When it ends with an a sound, it's usually a pull noun, or if it ends with an e sound, it's usually a stri noun. Now, the reason I said that is because there are some exceptions to these rules. An exception to the rule means some words that don't follow these rules. But there aren't a lot of those. There are some, but not a lot. And for now, we're not going to worry about that, okay? So for now, if you come across a Hindi noun that ends with an a sound, you're going to think that it's a pull noun. And if you come across a Hindi noun that ends with an e sound, that is a stri noun, all right? Now, I want to point something out that's really important that a lot of my students get confused on. I did not say that if the Hindi word ends with the letter A or ends with the letters EE. I said if the Hindi word ends with the a sound or the e sound. That distinction is important for you to remember, okay? All right. Now, let's look at some examples. Eyeglasses are called chashma in Hindi. The word chashma ends with an a sound. So are chashma pull or stri? They're pull. Underwear in Hindi are called kachi or chaddi. Both of those words end with an E sound. So are they pull or stri? Stri. All right, let's look at another example. In Hindi, shirt is kameez, and it's a stri noun. Now, when I was quizzing some of my students on this, I asked them, how did you know that kameez was a stri noun? And they said, because there's an E sound close to the end of the word. And that's wrong. That's not the reason, okay? It doesn't matter that the word has an E sound close to the end of the word. What matters is if the actual ending of the word ends with an E sound, okay? So don't get confused by that. A lot of my students have made this mistake that, oh, but the second to last sound is an E, so that's how I knew it was three. That is incorrect thinking, okay? What matters is what the last sound of the word is. If the last sound of the word is it's a pull noun. If the last sound of the word is E, it's a stri noun. Okay, so we have these helpful rules for nouns that end with an sound or an E sound. But what if the Hindi word doesn't end with either one? How do you determine the noun category for those? Well, let's take a look at an example of that. In Hindi, skirt is skart. It doesn't end with an sound. It doesn't end with an E sound. But think of it this way. Who generally wears skirts? Boys or girls? Well, most of the time we see girls wearing skirts. So a good guess is that this is a stri word. But I'll be honest, not all of the words follow this pattern. So the best we can do is learn one by one and practice them so that they commit to your memory. Now that we've reviewed what noun categories are, let's review Hindi clothing vocabulary and then identify the noun category for each item. In Hindi, shirt is kameez. It doesn't end with an sound, and it doesn't end with an E sound. So this is one that we can't use our rules for, and we just have to learn it manually. So kameez is a stri word. What about pants? In Hindi, pants are pant. And like kameez, this one doesn't end with an sound nor an E sound. So again, this is one that we can't use our rules for, and we just have to learn it. Pant is a stri word. For socks, there are two words in Hindi that we can use, moze or jurabe. Both of them are correct. Notice moze or jurabe means socks, plural, or more than one. One sock, which is singular, is moza or jurab. And now, this should be an obvious ullu, whether it's a pull or stri noun. Look at the word moza. It ends with an a sound. So then we know that it's a pull noun. Here's another one. In Hindi, shorts are nikkar. There's no sound at the end, no E sound at the end. So this is one that we just have to learn. Shorts or nikkar are pull. Let's do shoes. Now this is one I bet you know, but you might not realize that you know it. Have your parents ever said, jute pehno, jaldi chalo? Well, jute are shoes. Notice jute means shoes, plural, or more than one. One shoe is juta, or singular, juta, and this now should be an obvious ullu whether it's pull or stri. Juta ends with an a sound. So then, is it pull or three? It is pull. All right, let's do the next one. Dress is frock or poshak. And while it's not quite an obvious ulu because it doesn't end with an or an e sound, a good guess for this is that it's three. Why? Because like the skirt that we did, mostly we see girls wearing dresses. So this is kind of a sort of gray area with obvious ulu, but because we mostly see girls wearing dresses, a good guess is that a dress is a stri word. So frock or poshak, these are both words we use to describe a dress in Hindi or to say a dress in Hindi, and they are stri words. The vocabulary word for jacket is an easy one in Hindi because it's just jacket. It doesn't end with an or an e, so this is one that we just have to learn. Jacket is a stri word. Pajamas in Hindi are pajama. Now, did you know that this is a Hindi word that was adopted into English? Yes. Pajama actually comes from Hindi. And this should be an obvious ulu because what is pajama end with? An a sound. So this is a pull word. Slippers are another Hindi word that you probably know or that you know and just didn't realize that you know. Slippers in Hindi are chappal. There's no a sound at the end, no e sound at the end. So we just have to learn this one. Chappal are stri. Now we looked at this one earlier. We looked at underwear earlier. Let's do it again. There are two words for underwear, kachi or chaddi. And this one should be an obvious ulu because both of these words end with an e sound. So is underwear pull or stri? Stri. For swimsuit, it's the same word as the English word, but just with a kind of like an Indian accent. So we just say swimsuit. There's no a sound at the end. There's no e sound at the end. So this is another one that we just got to learn. Swimsuit is pull. Now we looked at skirt earlier. Let's do it again. Skirt is skart. And like the dress, it's not quite an obvious ulu because it doesn't end with an a or an e, but a good guess is that it's stri, just like the dress that we did earlier, because generally we see girls wearing skirts. So that's why stri is a good guess. Eyeglasses are chashma. And this one should be an obvious ulu because chashma ends with an a sound. So is it pull or stri? Pull. Sunglasses are kala chashma, like the famous song that you've heard. And this one is also an obvious ulu because chashma again ends with an a sound. So is it pull or stri? Pull. Belt is an easy vocabulary word because the Hindi word for belt is belt. There's no a sound at the end. There's no e sound at the end, so we just have to learn it. Belt is a stri word. Hat in Hindi is topi. Now this should definitely be an obvious ulu because it ends with an e sound. So is it pull or stri? Stri. All right, that was a lot of work, so very good job for keeping up with me. So now you can practice this vocabulary, practice the vocabulary words, practice the noun category for each one. And when you've done that, then you will be ready to use these words in sentences like, my hat is blue and yellow. Or, I like your green shirt. So once you know this vocabulary and the noun category, you will be ready to start using these words in sentences. So keep practicing this. For now, dhanyavad for joining me. I'll see you in class.